that. So now I'm bringing him out. Oh, the ships! Wow, so many ships. Any shipyard and an ugly factory there. So while he was taking his bath, I managed to get a little 20 minutes of service done on the computer. And now I'm bringing him out. So like I said, after breakfast, 29. After breakfast is rather I bring him out or I play with him in the house. So I take care of him mostly in the morning. Okay, 11, 10, 9, Jai! Okay. So I take care of him mostly in the morning. Once this is done, my wife will come out with him or she'll play with him at home. And then, and then I'm pretty much off for the day. After that, whole day is for my service. And in the evening, again, I help a bit taking care of him. Oh yeah, scooter. So he likes to ride on the scooter. Sometimes I just ride around in the garden. So I'm outside with him. When I'm driving a scooter with him, I drive on the sidewalk, as you can see. In the sidewalk in China, you can use your electric scooter. And I sit him like that, and I don't drive fast, you know. So that's it, I bring him out a bit. Sometimes when I play with him outside, I put classes on my phone or bhajan. Oh, water! Water, no, that water is dirty, but it's dirty water. Bubbles! Let's say bubbles! So to manage well our children and our grhastha life is important if we want to maximize the efficiency of our life in order to save as much time as possible to do service, you know, to preach, to be engaged in devotional service. So to keep a snack always is essential for our son. For example, now I brought him here, there was a lake, he loves water so much. So I was taking him out, and instead of him crying, he was going to cry, I just give him a snack, you know, those dry fruit. So always to have a little snack with us, that's one thing that I found to be very, very much helpful. And the snack, we don't give much, you know. We just give a bit after he has finished his meal, never before meal. Just like now, he took his meal maybe an hour ago. So that's okay, you know, give him a snack, some fruits. Never anything, you know, chemicals or what, some juice or fruits or, you know, dry fruits like that. Maybe a little sweet, like some halva, sometimes some little piece of halva. So that helps a lot to control the kid. Little tip. So I'm back home. Our son is downstairs with my wife. Now it's about 10:15. So I get some time to do as much service as I can before I take my nap. I sleep around 11. I sleep around 1 hour to 1.5 hours like that. And then when I wake up, I chant a little bit. My wife brings my son to sleep. And then I take prasadam and I continue service the whole afternoon. So I have about, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes of service.
Without preaching the gospel of Krishna consciousness, we are drinking poison willfully. This is our truth.
So now I'm going to be taking nap. Before taking nap, I always try to read, even if it's just 5 minutes. Now I'm reading this little booklet, the Hare Krishna Challenge. It's actually the first time I'm reading this. I highly recommend it. It's a collection of Prabhupada's conversations, you know, with different persons and or devotees, and it's very short and sharp. Like one chapter is just 2-3 pages, you know, it's just an excerpt of the conversation. And the Hare Krishna Challenge, basically it means how Prabhupada is challenging the misdirected civilization. And it's very easy to read. You can read one chapter, it's just like 2-3 minutes, so you don't have to have a lot of time. And I like to always get some impression in my mind before I go to bed. So I always read before sleeping, nap time and night time also. So one thing I do also is because my wife takes care of our son outside, our apartment is quite small, so it's quite noisy. So I sleep with earpods, and I put Prabhupada chanting japa, the lowest settings. So since the earpods already reduces the sound coming in, and plus Prabhupada chanting, I cannot really hear what's going on, and plus the spiritual vibration of Prabhupada's chanting is very nice. You know, you wake up more clear-headed, even during the night. I do that. Hare Krishna. So after waking up, I took shower. I shaved first. You know, the beard, the hair, cut the nails. Always feel much fresher after all this. You know, I'll always be clean and in devotee attire. Of course, here in China, I cannot wear all this outside, but in the house, I very much like to always be in dhoti and tilak and everything. I mean, dhoti is so comfortable also and so convenient, you know. And the tilak, you know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that a face without a tilak is like a face of a corpse. You know? So now my wife, she went to take rest with our son in the room there. So I will be offering my obeisances and chanting Gayatri. And after that will be my second chanting time.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You can see we printed the pictures, plexiglass. They also call it acrylic, I believe. The colors are very nice, they pop out. There's a bit of reflection, you know, and it's convenient because it is hard like this, you know, and it's see-through also, so the light can come out of it, and it will last very long, I believe. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will never get the love of Godhead that is the ultimate goal of this chanting. One who follows this direction, being freed from the 10 kinds of offenses, becomes successful in Krishna consciousness and ultimately reaches the platform of loving service to the personality of Godhead. One must come to the understanding that the holy name of the Lord and the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself are identical. One cannot reach this conclusion unless one is offenseless in chanting the holy name. As such, one is understood to be an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he considers himself an eternal servant of the holy name, and in this spirit distributes the holy name to the world. One who chants in that spirit without offenses is certainly elevated to the platform of understanding that the holy name and the personality of Godhead are identical. Now we'll be honoring Prasadam. While honoring Prasadam, I listen to Srila Prabhupada's class. I always try to listen to something. Not so long ago, I was listening to the Mahabharata, English narration of the whole Mahabharata in 84 chapters. Listened to it 3 times already, and it's very, very nice. What I used to do is every meal I would listen, you know, and in this way, within let's say a month or 2, you can finish. So now I'm trying to listen to all of Srila Prabhupada's classes. At the moment, I'm on the first canto, 7th chapter. So every meal, you know, little, always hearing. I always try to keep hearing, you know. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. That's the whole secret, is to always hear.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Mahaprasadam ki jai. Big rain. I really like when it rains like this. It's very peaceful, calm. It also cools down the atmosphere. So now it's service time. My wife and son are still sleeping. I've finished honoring Prasadam. I get my time for service. Now it's a bit after 3 o'clock. So normally they wake up around 4 o'clock, 4:30. I think I will tell my wife to just not disturb me, to take care of him, so that I can work a bit longer. So I've now been working for about 3 hours. My son and wife, they woke up around 4:30. Now it's almost 6. So she brought him out so that I can have more time. So normally they come back around 6:30 and then eat dinner. So normally we all take dinner together around 6:30. Today will be a bit later. I think we ate lunch a bit late. So 6 o'clock like that, then 6 o'clock again. We put a class together, Prabhupada class. We honor Prasadam, 3 of us. After 6, my wife will be cleaning all the pots and everything. Meanwhile, I would maybe play a bit with my son. Then my wife will give shower to my son, and after that they will go in the room, and I will have another time for myself, the last chanting, reading, or a bit of service like that. I get about 2 hours between my son taking shower and going into the room and me going to bed. So I had to go out. My wife is taking care of my son at the moment. They are probably eating dinner, so I had to do some things. Now I will go pick up the flowers for tomorrow Mangalarti. It's a frangipani flowers. There's actually another name for those flowers. It's a Goloka flowers or something. I saw on Wikipedia. I was searching, the devotees. There's Prahlad Bhakta Prabhu from India. He thought that they were called French pennies. Actually, the name is frangipani or frangipani, I'm not sure. And I think that French penny, the name came from maybe some people who misheard, and then they just repeated that and it became a thing. Anyway, so they're very fragrant flowers, very beautiful, and they grow abundantly at this time of the year. There's many trees in the garden and near the garden where we live. So I'm going there now.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
I've decided to take as much as possible. This is only for tomorrow because we're going to the temple a couple of weeks, so all these flowers they would have fallen by then when we come back. It's very nice. I like to go to the temple, and this is something that I will be making a vlog very soon on the future of ISKM China, what's coming, because I know for sure I don't want to keep working like this. I mean, of course, I want to maintain my family and all, but I want to be back in the preaching fire. I started the temple with my wife in the Henan province. It was, an amazing experience. A lot of tough moments, but it really helped us advance spiritually. It shaped us up, So since then, I was never really considered full-time. Even though all of my time that I have, almost all of my free time, I'm trying to do videos, I'm trying to preach, to do some little vlogs like this, encourage the devotees and encourage myself also, to speak the philosophy and all. I made a few videos, so that's all nice, but I would like to be at the head of a temple again, being the leading man and pushing the movement, training devotees, cultivating them. That's what I want. So we came back home. Oh, what's going on, baby? My wife has left the bhajan on. I'll put it with the GBL. I have some night bhajan which I really like, that we play in the evening. It's one of my favorite bhajan of Prabhupada. So those are the 3 bhajans I play over and over again in the evening. Okay, so my wife has given shower to our son. Now they're in the room there. So their evening program has started. She's gonna fight with him to make him sleep like every day. And from that point on, I get my time. 8:15. So I get about another 2 hours. Jai. So I will be taking a shower, to freshen up, and I will be maybe working a little bit more. And before bed, I don't like to work on my computer. The screen and everything, it's a bit too agitating. Before sleeping, I only do two things: chanting or reading. That's all. There are some devotees around the world that are against ISKM quoting from the 11th and 12th canto. Who knows why? It is Srimad Bhagavatam. They say that because it was translated by Hridayananda, which actually wasn't. I think he had some part in it. They say it's bogus and this, and they call it the Hridayananda Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is described in the Padma Purana as being Lord Krishna himself. So it's the same thing as saying he's Hridayananda's Krishna's, you know. Anyway, there's so many quotes showing that Prabhupada didn't mind devotees reading translations of Shastra. Not purports of conditioned soul, but translations made by other people, other devotees or karmis even. Prabhupada said it doesn't matter. And if you want to use them to preach, and it doesn't matter. It's a very easy thing to understand. I don't know what they're not understanding. And even, you know, translation of the purports of other acharyas, that's very nice. Recently I've got a friend, you know, who lives here in China, is also a devotee. He's against it because he associates with people who are against it for not very logical reason, because there's so many quotes of Prabhupada showing that it is okay to quote. The point is that they argue the issue on the point that Prabhupada didn't authorize for the 11th and 12th canto to be translated, making purport, and printed. So yes, we're not for printing and distributing these cantos because it contains purports written by a conditioned soul. However, in some of these purports, there are some translation of other verses from other scriptures, which is okay, or translations of purports given by the acharyas, which is also okay. But the purports given out of the mind of those who have translated, who are not on the level of a pure devotee, this we shouldn't read. So they argue for this. They argue for, oh, you're supporting this, but they argue as if we support the printing and distribution of those cantos, which is not what we're doing. We are using the verses of these cantos to preach, to do what Prabhupada wants us to do. We make videos, we make position papers, we make articles, we make messages, anything that helps one surrender to Krishna. If we can use these cantos as powerful tools in order to push this movement, why not? You know, if you renounce those cantos as if poison, you know, for very dogmatic reasons, that is foolishness. Anyway, so as I was thinking about this, you know, and I was speaking with Prabhupada, I mean, you know, praying, sometimes you think and you talk to Prabhupada in your mind, and I was seeking a bit of guidance because I already have a lot of quotes and everything, you know. I'm pretty confident that I can put a video together to defeat all their arguments. Their arguments are very weak, actually. But then Prabhupada reciprocated just now again. Actually, I'll show you what happened. I'm working on this, okay? This is all the verses that are quoted in the video of Dr. Zakir Naik. So as I was doing this, I was doing some research, and then I came, you know, I wanted to download the Naradiya Purana, and I came on this, Sri Krishna Kathamrita Bindu. So it's I've seen that many times actually. You see, this is issue 327. It's done by some devotee. I'm not sure who's doing this, but it's nicely done, you know, nicely arranged. It's like a very short type of magazine. You see, gopalju.org, Odisha. Anyway, it looks like a nice magazine. So as soon as I open this, boom, what do I see? Reading other books. So here I get Prabhupada's quotes on reading other books. So as I was saying, I was trying to get some guidance or more information on, is it okay to read other books? You know, I don't have doubts that to quote from 11 and 12 canto is wrong, but in my service, for example, in doing the Dr. Zakir Naik video, I had to read from so many other books, like so many Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, so many things, and it was a bit disturbing my mind to know that, you know, there's another group of devotees who think that, you know, it's not good. So I put myself in doubt. Am I doing wrongly? You know, is it okay that I'm looking at to such a length to try to quote properly and all? So then just to see this reciprocation of Prabhupada, all these quotes now that show that it's okay to be, you know, reading other books if it's for the matter of preaching, as long as it's just a translation, not the purport. So Prabhupada is still here, how much he reciprocates, and this just baffles me every time. Every time I feel myself very short of being able to reciprocate with Prabhupada, because like this, he reciprocates, and here I am not even, falling flat at his lotus feet or dancing in ecstasy at knowing that he's here and reciprocating with me. And, I feel that I lack in Krishna consciousness in order to be able to reciprocate properly from this. Today I'm thinking about this, and boom, I'm getting the quotes, you see. So it's amazing how the Lord reciprocates and how Prabhupada reciprocates. So many places it says that the Vani and Vapu are the same, and the Vani is actually more important, and Prabhupada is actually really here present by Vani. And we think that, it's a nice metaphorical way of speaking, or poetic, a poem. Oh, he's still here by his words. But actually it's not like that. He's really here. He is really here. He can guide, he can hear. You see, there's a devotee who asked Prabhupada, is it that the spiritual master can also guide us from the heart? And Prabhupada said, it only depends on purity, So Prabhupada is also there in the heart. He's also there in our heart. And he reciprocates to those who are sincerely trying to serve him and please him. And now we have gotten connection with Prabhupada, our eternal Father. So let's try to please him the best we can. Let's sacrifice this body, all these organs. Let's just throw them into the fire of yajna, of preaching, and just sacrifice this body until the end. That is what attracts me the most. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but this is the platform I want to reach. So I've taken shower, and I'll be working a little bit, and then I'll finish my rounds, and I'll do some reading. It's now 9 o'clock.
Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujaga Sri Jiva Gopalaka Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tanapara Premamritam Banidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyakaram Nirmasaram Pujitam Nana Shastra Vicharanayika Nipunam Sadharma Sangat.
Okay, so I have finally finished this service of putting all the verses from the Zakir Naik video in a PDF format, well organized, so that the devotees can translate them nicely in another language. So it's 10:10. I got 2 rounds to finish. That's what I'm gonna go do now.
Lokanang hitakarinang tribhumane mannang saranakaram Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajananandina Matvalikam Vanderu.
So this is it. This is my day. 10:30. Time to sleep and start over again tomorrow. So I hope you have appreciated the effort that we've made to show our grhastha-asrama life during this COVID-19, that I'm not working. This is what happens. When I'm working, normally I go to work early in the morning, and then the schedule is a bit different. So this is it. We hope you have appreciated, and if you have any tips, also if you want to discuss how you do things, you can write in the comment below and give us some tips so we can improve our sadhana, our spiritual life. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Sri Gauranga Gunanugandana Vidho Sadhyasamidharnitam Papatrapanikantana Tanabhitam Govinda